John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, came to my grade school on November 21st, 1963, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in 8th grade at St. Joan of Arc School in Dallas and had won a writing contest to interview the president. Sure, I had prepared a few simple questions about his children, John, and Caroline, his favorite color, and his dog, but I skipped those. My memory of this last interview, 52 years later, runs thus.
May I call you Jack, or do you prefer Mr. President?
I suppose for today I prefer Jack. Thanks for asking.
Jack, did you or Bobby first date Miss Marilyn Monroe?
Are you recording this on tape or just taking notes?
Notes only. I don't trust tape recordings. They can be edited.
Well then, to answer your question, Bobby met Marilyn first and introduced me. We all had dinner together. My wife Jackie was there. We danced once, I believe. She was a delightful, creative person.
I interviewed your brother Bobby by phone on January 12th, and he said, quote, Jack introduced me to Miss Monroe at the presidential dinner, and we all went up to the Lincoln bedroom for a nightcap, unquote. Do you care to comment?
Mary, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
Is that an evasion?
I suppose it is.
Next question. Why are you sending advisors to Vietnam, and could this lead to war?
Miss Moss, I have to ask, is Mary here a real student, or is she some sort of plant?
Mary Hart's the smartest girl in Dallas. Do you want me to show you her test scores?
Nope, I believe you. Look, Mary, anytime we send military advisors into any country, it's to assess the situation on the ground, where the hearts and minds of the people reside.
That's another fluff answer.
Pierre, you've got to listen to some of these questions. Mary here might be the last real journalist left in America. Tell me, Mary, have you read Huxley's Brave New World?
Is this another evasion?
Sure, but I'm still curious about you.
Orwell's 1984 and Huxley's Brave New World presents two possibilities of a republic that loses its way. One is a prison of totalitarian Big Brother surveillance, and the other offers soma-induced entertainment 24/7, where we amuse ourselves to death. I guess our choice in their dystopian universes is to be beaten with a stick or sedated with bread and circuses. What future world do you have prepared for us, Jack?
Wow. Okay. I'll try and answer your Vietnam question as honestly as my internal filters will allow me. Without war, our economy collapses. Eisenhower warned in his farewell address, beware of the undue influence of the military-industrial complex. Now, he was a 5-star general saying that. If I said that, they'd shoot me. Your tax dollar supports private wars, not the social economy. They say that you can only depend on one thing in life, and that's death and taxes. Now, I'm not sure about death, but war and taxes will be with us forever.
Good. I can use that. Next question. Did your father and Mayor Daley steal the Chicago election, or did they just buy it for you?
You're not recording this.
Scout's honor.
Well, I believe Stalin said, doesn't matter who votes, but who counts the vote. And I know for a fact in Chicago that the mayor counts the vote. Mayor Daley's dictatorship, unchallenged for decades, ensures that he'll be the mayor far after he dies.
Is that your answer?
You're a smart girl, Mary. Read whatever you'd like into it.
Don't worry. My readers will get it.
What is exactly your target audience, and what's your paper's circulation?
Mostly 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. but we have an indication that a few parents glance at the papers, and we have a circulation well over 100, but I suspect that this will bump that up. Next question. On April 27, 1961, in a speech to the American Newspaper Publishing Association at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, you said, and I quote, "Athenian law declared it a crime to shrink from controversy," unquote. But what does that mean to you?
Our role as citizens, if we truly live in a republic, is to hold our representatives' feet to the fire, not to shrink from our role as active participants, but hit the streets in protest, shut down big business, send a clear message, and use public opinion to effect change. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable.
What do you mean by violent revolution?
Well, Jefferson said the tree of liberty needs to be fertilized with the blood of tyrants every 20 years. By my count, we're long overdue.
Do you use other people's quotes to shrink from controversy or to justify your own opinions?
Both, Mary. We stand on the shoulder of giants who created a constitution, a living document that works. Our citizens revolted violently against England because they resented taxation without representation.
But those giants were also slaveholders and used manifest destiny to destroy Indian populations.
They were men of their times. Human beings, good and bad privately, but publicly, they work towards the greater good. Violence is a natural part of human evolution. Every day we extend our reach around the world through covert CIA action. We steal resources for our corporations to sell at their profit. Your tax dollar to help their bottom line. Someday, this will come back on us. Just because the media dresses up our behavior as humanitarian doesn't mean we're not killing innocents and making enemies.
So do you advocate for violence?
Revolution is a tool. The French Revolution, the American Revolution of 1776 worked. Many people died, but the net gain was the type of freedom that we enjoy and has spread democracy worldwide. We stand on the brink of losing our country, if it's not gone already.
Gone already?
America's a manufactured narrative. Our democracy is not vibrant. Our system of elections needs a reality check. Ads and TVs dictate our mindset. We become consumers, not citizens. Do you know how Ben Franklin described democracy? He said, "A democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what to have for dinner."
Voting for dinner. That's clever. Next question. On June 10th of this year, you said in a commencement speech at the American University, you'd advocate working with Khrushchev for peace over nuclear engagement with communists. But can that be dangerous to say out loud in an industry that adores escalation?
I'm conflicted. I swore to uphold the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. And I hate that I have to balance the wants and needs of the establishment money that elected me against the wants and the needs of my constituents, my family, and my inner self. In the end, I hope to accomplish a few things in my 4 years.
You aren't running for re-election?
No. You heard it here first. Unexclusive.
Well, does anyone else know you're not running?
Only you and your loyal readers, Mary.
Well, you should probably let the folks around you know so that they can plan accordingly. But how does the president go about achieving a few things?
Well, usually I have to do 10 things for the money before I can do one thing for the people.
And which one is that?
Abolish the Federal Reserve. Take the printing of money away from the big central banks in Europe and give it back to the American people. This will save future generations trillions in hidden taxes and prop up the American dollar for 100 years.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
Are you worried about me, Mary?
History's never been kind to the leaders who share the crumbs.
History is a fable. Written by court historians. They'll whitewash my life, mythologize me, create a legend, or just scrub me from the history books. I'm a private citizen first, and a public figure second. But there is a part of me that will never be known, except for insightful interviews like this one.
Well, now you're just kissing butt. Next question. 6 days ago, you said in a speech, quote, "There is a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose this plot," unquote. But what is this plot?
Circulation 100, right? Our laws, written by lobbyist lawyers, create wealth transfers for the few at the top. Our representatives want to socialize the debt and privatize the wealth. It may take a few years, but the blueprint to eliminate the middle class is in place. Our middle class was an anomaly of winning World War II. The GI Bill allowed for cheap housing and free education and created the first real middle class in history. And that is considered by some a misplacement of vast sums of money, so it must be rectified.
What do you mean rectified?
Unfortunately, they want the middle class to disappear. The ancillary benefits of living in a rich, free nation once understood as a natural right will be squeezed dry. In 50 years, anybody with eyes who wants to see will understand how the game is rigged.
Like the Chicago election.
Precisely, Mary. It's very clever.
And finally, Jack, what are your plans for tomorrow?
Well, I'm looking forward to a nice motorcade into downtown to meet the good citizens of Dallas.
Thank you very much for your time.
Do me a favor, Mary. Lighten your pack. You carry too much weight on your tiny shoulders. Live life. Be happy. Today's all we really have.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
My interview with Jack Kennedy was the most important thing that ever happened to me. In 8th grade, I had hopes and dreams of becoming a journalist. But that next day destroyed my faith in humanity and truth. I stopped asking questions. I stopped writing, and I stopped being me. I became silent, and I've remained silent for 52 years. Maybe now I need to take Jack's advice and ask not what my country can do for me, but what can I do for my country?